So we're just gonna dive right in, starting with some stewed lentils with Jamaican fried dumplings. I poured in some homemade tomato sauce, lentils, quinoa, and some chopped pecans and let that simmer down for a little bit. For the fried dumpling, I used flour, salt, baking powder, and I mixed it up before kneading it in some vegan butter. And then I fry them in some coconut oil until they're nice and golden and cooked through in the middle. I do poke it with a fork just to make sure that the inside is cooked. I love dipping the biscuit in my stew, and the plating makes it so much easier to enjoy because I get to have it all in one place. I did end up making some mashed potatoes. Instead of using butter, I used coconut milk to give it a nice flavor, which is why it's a little white. And I sprinkled in some nutritional yeast and added some green onions and of course my pepper flakes. Day 2 was a breeze. Literally all I did was boil some spaghetti because I'm using the leftover lentils from yesterday. So I just warmed that up on the stove while my spaghetti is cooking. And I'm gonna chop up some tomatoes and basils to add to the dish. But spaghetti is never complete without some vegan Parmesan cheese, and the recipe is down below if you guys want to try that out. I'm plating my spaghetti, add my lentil sauce, sprinkle on some of the vegan Parmesan cheese. My tomato, avocados, basils, and of course again some pepper flakes. This was so good. If I could eat spaghetti every single day, I promise I would. I mean, I think we had spaghetti like 3 times in 1 week. It was so good. And for my little guy, I made some tomato ladybugs to add to his dish, make it a little fun, a little interactive. I do have a lot of fun meals for my kids, and you could check that out on my Instagram page. I'm not big on rice, so I used bulgur wheat for this meal. I used water from cooking the kidney beans to add some flavor to the dish. I added my coconut milk, green onions, I add my peas and the bulgur wheat and a nice spoonful of butter, and I'm just gonna let this simmer for about 15 minutes until it's cooked. For the veggie bean ball, I used chickpea, green onions, pecans, and flax meal to hold it all together and blend it before adding it to the seasoned breadcrumbs. I do make my own breadcrumbs just because it's easier and I save more. If I buy it, it'll just sit for a while versus making it when I do need it. I have the recipe down below if you guys wish to try that out also. These hold up pretty well. The breadcrumbs give it a nice firm texture, and then I fry them in some coconut oil for about 2 minutes. I just continue to turn them just so each side gets a chance to get some color on them before I add in the barbecue sauce. And dinner is served. We went super healthy on day 4. Chopped up some root vegetables, got my carrots, potatoes, and beets. Surprisingly, my youngest loved beets, and I tossed this with some olive oil and some seasonings, and I'm just gonna spread it on the baking tin and roast it in the oven for about 30 minutes so that they're fully cooked through. And while these are in the oven, I'm going to saute some peppers and spinach. I use water instead of oil just to take a healthier route. My youngest and myself prefer our spinach cooked, and my oldest and husband like theirs raw. So I do add some garlic and some salt, and my secret ingredient is honey. You have to add the honey. It just elevates the dish. And these are my boys' plates. I have the link to these plates down below. They have a wide selection and they're just absolutely adorable if you guys want to check those out. And dinner is served. So I'm ending the weekday with some Indian chapati, also known as roti or flatbread, and some curried chickpeas and potatoes. This was so delicious. It was so good. I'm going to season these with some homemade curry powder and salt. I added water to this just to make mixing it easier because I do use the leftover water that's in the bowl to add to the pan while it's cooking. I tossed in the chickpea. I heated some coconut oil and added my onions and mustard seed. It did call for yellow mustard seed, but I only had black. I don't know what the difference is, but it was good either way. And I'm just gonna let this simmer for about 30 minutes before removing it from the stove. Add a little extra seasoning and some cinnamon just to give it a little kick. And of course, tasting it, making sure the flavor is right, which it is. And while that's cooking, I have my little helper in the kitchen with me. For the chapati, we add flour, salt, warm water, and oil. You guys are looking at a future chef right here. We're just gonna knead it into a dough. So we're gonna roll out the pieces. I separate it into about 8 pieces, and we're just gonna roll it out and heat it in a skillet for a few seconds on each side. And serve it up with this delicious chickpea and potato curry.